What if I told you the most gut-wrenching playoff legacy in modern hockey doesn't belong to the Toronto Maple Leafs? Toronto's pratfalls are loud, meme-ready, and endlessly dissected on sports radio. But 2 time zones south, the Carolina Hurricanes have quietly built something even darker. A 1-16 record in conference final games since 2009. 1 lonely win, 16 soul-crushing losses. No trending hashtags, no late-night monologues. Just a soft gust of disappointment that never seems to leave Raleigh. Tonight we're cracking open that silence to see why a franchise that does almost everything right keeps imploding one step from immortality. Before we dive deeper, these videos take hours of research and editing, so hitting subscribe would mean the world. Toronto's tragedy is a first-round fireworks show. Talent, hype, implosion, reset. Carolina's disaster unfolds in slow motion. The Hurricanes navigate 2 rounds, crank up expectations, then vanish when the curtain lifts on hockey's brightest stage. Over the last 4 Eastern Conference Finals, they've been outscored 78-41, yet the hockey world shrugs because, well, they're well run and the building is smaller. The contrast sets the stage. One team can't reach the high dive, the other climbs the ladder, stares down at glory, and jumps with no water in the pool. But to understand how the Canes became the NHL's stealth heartbreak machine, we have to rewind to the first crack in the dam. Spring 2009 felt like destiny for Carolina. They'd stunned the top-seeded Bruins, Cam Ward looked invincible, and Raleigh's Caniac crowds were shaking the rafters. Enter Pittsburgh. Sidney Crosby, age 21, and Evgeny Malkin, age 22, turned the series into an instructional video. 7 points for Sid, 9 for Gino, 20 goals to Carolina's 9. It ended in 4 brutal nights. The sweep was so decisive it felt like a clerical error, yet the organization treated it as a one-off. Great teams lose to superstars, right? Unfortunately, that logic would age like milk, but one humiliation can be excused as bad timing. The sequel is where legends of failure are forged. Fast forward a decade. The roster is younger, faster, analytics approved. Brind'Amour has molded a relentless forecheck that pundits drool over. But in May, Boston dissects it like a lab frog. The numbers are merciless. Series goals 17-5, power play 0 for 12, another 4-game sweep. Aho is 21, Svechnikov barely old enough to rent a car, and Caniac Nation consoles itself with youth curve optimism. Still, the echo from 2009 is unmistakable. Carolina doesn't just lose in the penultimate round, it never lands a punch. A decade apart, twin sweeps could be coincidence. Then the Panthers wandered in and ripped that theory apart. The 2023 Eastern Final isn't a blowout, it's death by slow bleed. Game 1 drags into quadruple overtime, second longest game in franchise history. Game 2 spills into OT again. Games 3 and 4 hinge on deflections and crossbars. Every night ends with Florida dancing, Carolina staring at the scoreboard, wondering how almost keeps turning into never. When Matthew Tkachuk buries the dagger with 4.3 seconds left in Game 4, the Hurricanes' conference final losing streak hits 15 straight. The hockey gods don't even bother to make it funny anymore. At 15 losses, you'd think the universe owed them mercy. Instead, 2025 arrived with a sledgehammer. Carolina enters the rematch with Florida convinced the curse ends here. Freddie Anderson is posting Vezina-level numbers, and Game 4 finally snaps the infamous streak with a 3-0 shutout. Relief floods the locker room, then Game 5 happens. 9 minutes into the second period, the Canes lead 2-0. RBC Center is a jet engine, and then 30 evil seconds. Tkachuk, then Rodriguez tie the game before fans can finish a beer. By the third, the Panthers control every blade of ice and coast to a 4-2 win, clinching their 3rd straight Stanley Cup berth. Series tally: Panthers 21 goals, Hurricanes 10. Carolina's lone victory feels like a participation ribbon. Under the hood, the numbers are uglier. Power play 15%, penalty kill 70%, face-off circle a crime scene. Anderson is human again. The defense coughs up slot chances. The 5-game gentleman's exit hides how lopsided most shifts fell. Scoreboards explain the symptom. Let's dig into the disease. Carolina's blueprint still looks brilliant on a whiteboard. Relentless forecheck, point shots through traffic, layers of defensive pressure. But once the calendar flips to late May, the rest of the league seems to hold the master cheat sheet. Opponents chip pucks past pinching defensemen, stretch the neutral zone, and wait for odd man rushes the system can't cover. Shot totals stay impressive, yet the Hurricanes' high danger chances plummet while rush attempts against spike, and the ice tilts the wrong way shift after shift. Worse, when everything bogs down, Carolina has no true game-breaker to smash the stalemate. Sebastian Aho is a first-line center, Andrei Svechnikov a wrecking ball, Seth Jarvis a spark plug, but none carry the nuclear aura of a Kachuk or Kucherov. The front office tried to rent that magic with January's splash for Mikko Rantanen, only to watch chemistry fizzle so completely he was flipped again by summer. Meanwhile, the middle six remains IKEA reliable yet toothless. Jesperi Kotkaniemi is still a mystery box at 2C, and aging stalwarts like Jordan Stahl or Brent Burns can no longer tilt a series on willpower alone. Management's radar now drifts towards snipers such as Kyle Connor or Jake Gwentzel, while rumor winds whisper about Mitch Marner. Electric, yes, but more creator than closer. Layer on the psychological scar tissue of 15 straight conference final defeats, and you get sticks gripped too tightly, power plays that overthink themselves, and a locker room haunted by every unlucky bounce dating back to 2009. The paradox is maddening. The Canes are simultaneously built to last and running out of time. Their core, Aho, Svechnikov, Jarvis, Jakub Slavin, is locked through 2029, providing enviable stability yet making a teardown impossible. A promising wave of prospects, headlined by Bradley Nadeau and Alexander Nikishin, is on the way, but those kids are still 2 springs from real influence. This summer's cap space, roughly $11 million once the Rantanen rental disappears, allows for one seismic signing or a pair of savvy additions, and general manager Don Waddell has shown he'll swing for the fences. Still, roster tweaks alone won't cure the postseason vertigo. Rod Brind'Amour remains universally respected, yet his once innovative scheme now reads like well-marked sheet music. Carolina may need an assistant tactician to remix the power play and loosen the neutral zone clamps without tearing up the whole score. Just as crucial is the mental reset. Toronto drowns in outside noise. Carolina suffocates in its own quiet doubt, and sports psychologists will tell you both poisons taste the same. The leadership trio of Stahl, Slavin, and Aho must turn scars into calluses before another golden window slams shut. One bold acquisition, one tactical refresh, and a locker room vow to ignore history could flip the script overnight. Fail to act decisively, and that eerie 1-16 mark will keep mutating from bizarre trivia into the franchise's defining label. Rarely does a franchise guard such contrasting identities. Analytical darling by day, postseason apparition by night, the Carolina Hurricanes possess structure, culture, and an enviable core. But until they import a true finisher and update a playbook the league has annotated to death, they'll keep starring in the saddest rerun the NHL never talks about. Toronto's misadventures remain the punchline, yet Carolina's 1-16 conference final record is creeping past tragic into mythic. Break the pattern soon, and this saga becomes an epic of delayed triumph. Fail again, and the silent collapse might finally get loud enough for everyone to hear. Stay tuned, because the off-season storm swirling over Raleigh could change the Eastern Conference for years.